Coming up on AgweekTV, I'm here in northeast Nebraska at the epicenter of one of the worst flooding disasters in the state's history.
It's been a long, snowy winter, but spring is coming. We'll examine the planting outlook.
We'll look at how that planting outlook will impact the acreage mix for 2019. And EPA grants more refinery waivers from the Renewable Fuels Standard. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. Much of the Midwest is dealing with catastrophic flooding this week along the Missouri and Mississippi River basins. It's the result of a hurricane-like winter storm called a bomb cyclone that dropped huge amounts of rain and melted existing snow. The worst flooding has been in Nebraska and Iowa, but parts of Minnesota, South Dakota, and bordering states were also affected. Hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland are underwater, and millions of dollars of rural infrastructure have been destroyed, which is hampering transportation of grain, livestock, ethanol, and DDGs. In Nebraska, Ag Director Steve Wellman says they're estimating the total damage of the storms and flooding to the agricultural industry at $1 billion, with $400 million of that attributed to livestock losses alone. That number will undoubtedly continue to climb as Nebraska farmers and ranchers are in the process of putting their lives back together after the worst disaster in the state's history. I traveled to the epicenter of the flooding in northeast Nebraska to see the damage and healing process among the farming and ranching community.
Well, basically, I don't have anything left.
That's how Willard Rosichka describes the scene here at his ranch, which looks like a war zone after the 91-year-old Spencer Dam broke on the Niobrara River.
If it had been water, you wouldn't have seen this. There's so much, devastation, but it's the ice.
And it left just a few buildings behind, this one dating back to 1871.
A lot of my buildings, I don't know where they're at.
In fact, the water and ice swept away 500 bales and all but one bin of corn. Yet amazingly, most of his cattle herd survived.
We got a lot of them out, but I don't know how many. Some of them we're still taking care of ourselves. They're up in the hills. A lot of the other cattle are at my neighbors. I got beautiful neighbors, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful neighbors.
Now neighbors he doesn't even know are providing feed through a hay drive organized by Kurt Zimmer and his daughter Hannah. Bales are being dropped at the Verdigris auction barn and delivered by local truckers.
And she put something on Facebook and it just blew up, and we've had a lot of people call us from all over the country.
But he says more donations will be needed.
I'm thinking we're going to need about 70 semi-loads of hay to get all these guys through till we can get them out to grass.
Rosichka will need feed again later this year as his cropland was also flooded, and now just a field of ice remains.
A lot of our fields, you're not going to be able to farm any of it.
But neighbors are helping with the cleanup and giving this fifth-generation rancher the strength to go on.
My grandson would be the 6th generation. And I'm not leaving. I'm going to try to come back.
The Nebraska Department of Ag, Farm Bureau, Cattlemen Association, Farm Service Agency, and many others are providing assistance, resources, and helping to coordinate relief, donations, plus volunteer time for cleanup. More information is available on their websites. Mike Kaminsky and his family farm and ranch near Loup City, Nebraska. We wanted to show you part of a Facebook video he and Trent Luce recorded about the devastation on the Kaminsky ranch.
You could hear a roar down here at the like a train coming off the tracks, and the cows started migrating into the water just to get away from the ice. And at that point, we had other cattle in the lots. Water started backing up onto our farm yards. We cut wires and started chasing cows away from the river just to save what we could.
You and I have found a number of dead calves and cows today walking around. I don't care how many you've had, it never gets easier.
We'll never get back to where we were in terms of our cattle. It took out the oldest calves, which would be our most productive cattle. So it'll take us probably 10 to 12 years to get to those genetics again. I don't want a pity party. We don't want people coming out helping us. We just want people to be aware of what happened and the toll that it takes on all the people out here.
We'll have much more on the devastating flooding in the next Ag Week magazine and on agweek.com. Private analyst estimates for acreage are being released ahead of the March 29th prospective plantings report, and many are already reflecting the weather problems in the Midwest. For many months now, the market has been anticipating an acreage shift in 2019, including more corn and spring wheat. But with flooding and winter lingering on in many parts of the Corn Belt, that may change those intentions. The projections for less soybeans and more corn have been tied to the price and profit ratio favoring corn.
Pretty close to $10, $12 on soybeans, but a good profit on corn. It could be $75 to $100.
However, with unharvested crop and the lack of fall field work, combined with record snowfall and now flooding in the western Corn Belt, Mother Nature may trump that.
Well, we have a very heavy snow cover in much of the western and the northern Corn Belt. I think probably the worst scenario since about 2008.
That may mean less acres of spring wheat and corn get planted versus beans, or even more prevent plant acres in that area.
Last time we had a lot of snow like this, you go back into 2011, 2010s, and 13s, where we started having 5, 6, and 8 million acres of prevent planting.
Add to that $100 per ton jump in nitrogen fertilizer versus last fall.
I do think there will be some acres that switch because of that. Who knows what that number will be, but fertilizer prices are have gone way up, and that's a big concern.
So many private analysts have been adjusting corn acres down.
We think that the U.S. farmer, if he's given the opportunity, can still plant 91.5 million acres of corn, but that still doesn't leave us with a lot of end stocks, even with the trendline yield.
And last fall, there was talk of as much as an 8 million acre drop in soybeans, but that too has been scaled back.
Soybeans we've been taking up. At one point, we were down at 83, now we're back at 85.5.
So with all this uncertainty, it's shaping up to be a very interesting spring planting season in the U.S. Agronomists also point out that the later corn is planted, the less yield potential it has, which also makes it a little less profitable when compared to soybeans. That could also play into farmers' planting decisions this spring. So how will our long, cold, snowy winter affect spring planting? We'll hear from some experts after this.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you with a wide variety of bin options and accessories, along with site planning and superior customer service. Plus, from top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with generations of experience and dependability. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
Luckin Trucks and Parts sells quality used parts for all makes and models. With over 50 acres of trucks and parts and new inventory arriving daily. Family owned and operated since 1966, Luckin's specializes in the sale of quality used medium to heavy duty truck parts as well as pre-owned trucks, trailers, and construction equipment. If it's on a truck, we got it. Call us today and let us get you your part.
With the success of the Case IH Tiger Quad Track and Magnum Road Track tractors, it's no secret why Case IH is the leader of the track. So it wasn't surprising when the competition started imitating us. But only Case IH offers a 5-axle design to give you a smoother ride, more power to the ground, with less berming and compaction. Still, we're flattered. In fact, if we weren't already red, we'd be blushing.
Make sure your farm equipment is season ready with an uptime inspection from your Titan Machinery service professionals. Titan Machinery's team of Case IH factory-trained service technicians has the knowledge and experience to find, correct, and prevent mechanical issues that could shut you down during the season. Your planting and harvest windows are short. For genuine Case IH parts and service, schedule an off-season uptime inspection at Titan Machinery today. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer.
Do you have a vested interest in land?
The upcoming Great Plains Land Expo is a must-attend event for landowners, developers, mineral interest owners, farm operators, and investors.
Join us on Wednesday, June 26 in Fargo as we hear from a variety of industry leaders speaking on topics relating to land, energy, and minerals.
You'll discover ways to capitalize on agriculture and energy opportunities and learn how to become a better steward of our natural resources.
Early bird rates are available, so register today at GreatPlainsLandExpo.com.
Our long, tough winter has been hard for many farmers, especially those who were hit with heavy snows already in October. Now our March storms threaten to delay spring planting. But as Jonathan Knudsen reports, a lot also depends on our April weather.
We'll get the crop in. We always have.
Paul Coppin is the CEO of Valley United Co-op in Reynolds, North Dakota. He's seen every kind of weather in 40 years in the job, and he realizes there's concern about a late spring.
There is some concern out there about the late spring. Of course, we had a late fall. A lot of the crop didn't get out until after the first snows came, so they didn't get this ground worked. I think there's some concern about there that needing to get this stuff worked up before we start to plant it.
Coppin is hopeful that planting will get going in earnest by the last week in April. If so, it wouldn't be unusually late, but some farmers already have changed some of their maturities over concerns about late planting.
It's been a kind of extremely hard year to try to guess what these guys are going to plant. We think maybe they're going to plant more corn. At least we went into the winter thinking that they're going to plant less soybeans. But the later we get, the more they'll go back into beans again.
And after our cold, snowy winter, growers need a warm, dry spring. Meteorologist Daryl Richardson, interim director of the North Dakota Ag Weather Network, says the cooperative April can quickly get things back on track.
Any delays this year I do not think are going to be caused by what is on the ground right now. I think it would be any rainfall that we get in April, not what's on the ground. 2 weeks from now, besides the man-made piles that we created, most of the snow is going to be gone. So we will start April with probably very little snow on the ground. Then it would come down. Would we get a snowstorm about that time frame? So again, I don't think this would delay us. It would be really what's happening in the future from this point that would delay planting this year.
Coppin says a shorter planting season could cause some supply and distribution problems, but he's not too worried at this point.
We're just all anxious to hear the tractor start up and the smell of dirt being turned.
In Reynolds, this is Jonathan Knudsen for Ag Week.
Jonathan will have much more on the planting outlook and how weather might affect it in the next Ag Week magazine and on agweek.com. And here's USDA's assessment of the earliest spring wheat, corn, and soybeans are planted on average, their most active planting period, and the latest planting date. The earliest farmers generally plant spring wheat ranges from March 31st to April 16th, depending on the state, as you can see in the graphic. The latest ranges from May 21st in South Dakota to June 3rd in North Dakota. Early corn planting ranges from April 22nd in Minnesota to the 26th in South Dakota. The latest planting for corn is May 29th in Minnesota, June 4th in North Dakota, and June 10th in South Dakota. Early soybean seeding ranges from May 2nd in Minnesota to May 7th and 8th in North Dakota and South Dakota. And the latest planting assessment for soybeans is June 13th in Minnesota to the 21st of June in South Dakota. Up next on Ag Week TV, we'll have some advice for keeping your calves healthy in this cool, wet weather. And later, we'll see what's new for growers at the International Sugar Beet Institute.
When planting season comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. This spring, keep your planters rolling with a user-friendly seed tender from North Star Ag. We have seed tenders for every sized operation from Meridian, Unverferth, and J&M. North Star Ag also sells a variety of Valmar spreaders, the leader in air boom delivery, and is a full-service Meridian hopper bin dealer. Visit NorthstarAg.com to see our complete new and used equipment inventory or give us a call.
How can one tillage tool handle most field conditions, residue types, and tillage practices? It takes a Renegade, the Summers VRT Renegade. Switch from vertical to aggressive tillage and anywhere in between. Adjust blade angles, tillage depth, and more on the go, all from an iPad. Get the tillage results you want, like only the Summers VRT Renegade can. For more information or a demo, contact your Summers dealer.
Upgrade your trailer to electric with the Rolltech electric system from AgriCover. Strong, flexible pivot arms and motor mount rotate and telescope, allowing the roll tube to rise and flex over heaped loads. The positive automatic lock is impossible to back off to control the flow of grain. This integrated system uses one wireless remote to operate up to 10 tarps and hoppers, keeping your driver out of the dust, rain, and harm's way. See the Rolltech system in action at an AgriCover dealer near you.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
DTE is your headquarters for flatbeds and service bodies for your truck. Whether you need to haul bales, heavy commercial equipment, or take every tool with you, DTE has the truck equipment you need. We have over 200 units on hand, or will custom build a flatbed or service body on your truck.
Like this Dewey's bale bed with dual lift cylinder arms. Lift, load, and handle your bales with ease.
When you need help at the farm, your business, or in the oil patch, count on DTE. DTE, let us build a truck for you.
Some cattle producers are more than a month into calving, and it's been a tough season, battling cold, snow, and mud. Central North Dakota has seen some of the coldest and snowiest weather on record. Veterinarian Joseph Hohalter says it's been going pretty well for those who have already started, although they've had to deal with a lot of snow and some frozen ears. He says now that temperatures have started rising, mud and wet conditions will be a big problem for calves, and things like scours and navel infections may occur.
Do your best to get those calves bedded down, keep them clean and dry as much as possible, which will be hard with all of this moisture that we're going to get. Certainly there are different supplements that we can use at birth to help reduce the risk for calf scours, and it's just best to consult with your veterinarian on what they recommend or what has been successful in your area.
Hohalter says calving dates have been edging later in recent years as producers try to avoid the coldest weather. March 15th is the average start date for calving in North Dakota, and last year the bulk of it was done in April. Will our warming trend continue? Here's Andrew with our AgriWeather outlook.
Temperatures continue to moderate across much of the Plain States, and flooding continues across the Central Plains, and we will get into rural flooding as we go into the Northern Plains as we head towards the later half of March and right on through the month of April. But overall temperature trend from March 23rd through the 30th, though, overall near average temperatures are expected across much of the Plain States and Midwestern states, and that trend, again, will continue for the latter half of March with the well above average temperatures across the extreme southern portions of the Plain States. And here's how we break it all down. For Saturday, we'll start off and seeing some mild temperatures across parts of the Plain States. We'll have a cool system that will work its way towards the northern plains as we head towards the second half of the weekend. And then as we get into early portions of the week here we are Tuesday, March 26th. We'll have some more mild and warmer air filtering right back into the Plain States once again before another cooling trend takes effect as we end March and begin the start of April. And it will be a little unsettled weather expected with that as well. We're tracking near to just above average precipitation expected for more portions of Kansas, Nebraska, and southern portions of South Dakota, and for us in North Dakota and northern portions of Minnesota here. Small precipitation chances early in the week of the last week of March, and then turning active as we end out March and begin the first week of April. Could be some more unsettled weather heading our direction with some, again, that above average precipitation affecting much of the central and southern portions of the plains. And temperatures as we get into the first week of April will be slow to rise, and we're expecting below average temperatures across the western Dakotas. So overall, what we continue to track is rural flooding, an issue over the next several weeks here. A brief cool down to end the March and to start of April. And then as we talk about precipitation chances, small chances for rain and snow as we head throughout the next 2 to 3 weeks.
With the all-new GreenFit system from Ricard, plug and play is finally a reality when using John Deere AutoTrack guidance with existing new products like the Challenger 1000 series or all-new C-Series Rogators from Butler Machinery. GreenFit is an authorized navigation interface that utilizes existing John Deere AutoTrack guidance system to steer most Challenger tractors and sprayers. GreenFit eliminates the worry of learning and converting to a new steering system when buying an industry-leading Challenger from Butler Machinery. Learn more about GreenFit at butlermachinery.com.
Farmers take pride in growing safe, affordable, nutritious food. And since over 90% of U.S. farms are family or individually owned, keeping land and animals healthy makes sense for all of us. If you have questions about the food you eat, talk to the people who grow it. North Dakota farmers and ranchers are your best source for reliable facts on food and farming. Visit findourcommonground.com and become part of the food conversation today. Brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Checkoff.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
When the water's high and your yields are low, 'cause your fields have no place for water to flow, just one call takes care of it all. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated. Call on Field Drainage. Experts in
Martinson Ag Risk Management offers a variety of crop marketing and crop insurance packages to our customers. With over 40 years of experience, our dedicated staff works hard to ensure you get the best advice on crop insurance, marketing, and risk management. Contact Randy or any of the staff at Martinson Ag Risk Management today at 701-205-4200 or visit us online at martinsonag.com.
The EPA continues to grant small refinery waivers from the Renewable Fuels Standard, or RFS. On May 14th, they announced approval of 5 more 2017 exemptions and noted 2 more petitions have been received for 2018. To date, 39 waiver petitions have been filed for 2018, but EPA said this week it would only grant partial waivers on some of those plants. Ethanol officials say so far EPA has not reallocated any of the gallons from the waivers for 2017 or 2018, and if it doesn't, it may negate any gains from E15.
With the industry and National Corn, there is a lawsuit pending for reallocation of those RINs, but there should be a process if there was a waiver, there has been waivers, there's been bankruptcies, that those would then be reallocated in the marketplace.
If EPA gets the E15 rulemaking done and fails to address all of these small refinery exemptions, the net effect isn't a benefit for corn farmers in terms of grinding more corn to make ethanol or ethanol producers.
Ethanol officials say the 5 new waivers wiped out another 366 million gallons of RFS blending obligations, which is equivalent to the output of 4 large ethanol plants. A California jury has unanimously ruled that the common herbicide glyphosate caused cancer. The case against Bayer was only the second of some 11,200 Roundup lawsuits scheduled to go to trial in the U.S. Another California man was awarded $289 million in August after a state court jury found Roundup caused his cancer. The award was later reduced to $78 million. The country's largest exhibit of sugar beet equipment and related products was held this week at the Fargo Dome. Growers had the chance to see the latest developments in technology at the 57th Annual International Sugar Beet Institute. Guest speaker Dan Colasico, economic consultant with the American Sugar Alliance, talked about opportunities and challenges facing sugar beet growers. He says it's generally a good time for sugar production, with stable prices and a strong sugar program in the new Farm Bill.
History and basic economics have proven that a strong supply control program is needed in sugar. Sugar is such a unique product. And unfortunately, areas that have given it up, like the EU, suffered severely for it recently.
Extension specialists say our slow warm-up is looking positive for growers to get in the field by mid-April. Still ahead on AgweekTV, how teaching kids about ag will make them better consumers and employees. AgWeek is excited to bring you the AgWeek app with useful features and the latest news and information right at your fingertips. Get your AgWeek news, weather, and the latest episodes of AgweekTV. Plus, see real-time information on the futures market and view local cash bids for your crops. Stay updated and take AgWeek with you wherever you are. Download the AgWeek app today.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
A new Ag in the Classroom program for South Dakota is taking off in its first year. It was developed by Groundworks Midwest, a nonprofit that has 3 major program areas: teaching gardens, youth eating smart, and Ag in the Classroom. The new version helps teachers use agriculture as a vehicle for teaching history, math, and language skills in an engaging way.
It is enhancing, it is sparking interest, kids love it, it is fun, teachers enjoy it. In the meantime, they're learning a lot about South Dakota agriculture in a way that's not been presented before, in a way we hope is going to encourage them to be really agriculture aware consumers and eventually leaders.
Former South Dakota Ag Secretary Walt Bones is on the program's board. He says there are a lot of great opportunities to work in ag besides farming, and this program helps young people learn about them.
If we can nurture some of this ag knowledge, I think that might open up some doors for, some of the workforce development issues that the state is always facing.
The program is available to 7,300 fourth graders in 100 of the state's 150 school districts. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or download the AgWeek app. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.